Hi, I'm Sandy Earle.
And I'm Bill Spaeth.
And we're Red Pearl Racing.
Welcome to the OhioRAAM Show. Woohoo!
Thank you, Sandy and Earl, for that introduction, better known as the Red Pearl Racing Team. And we had Sandy and Earl on the show back in March, and if you'll look on the archives at the website OhioRAAMshow.com, you will see them under show number 145. And this is the OhioRAAM Show, a show about cycling and ultracycling. It comes to you 3 times a month on the 7th, the 17th, and 27th of each month. And my name is Lee Kreider. I host the show, and this is show number 148. The show is brought to you by the people who operate Time Stations 41 in Oxford, Ohio, and Time Station 42 in Blanchester, Ohio. Time stations on the race across America. There will be open from June the 20th until June the 24th as the race across America passes through Ohio. They're open there 24 hours a day with 24-hour food, 24-hour fuel, and 24-hour fans. Great place to come and see the race. There'll be people there who will be able to inform you as to what's going on. You'll meet friends, you'll meet some of the racers, some of the crews. It's just a great place to come. We hope you'll see you there. Winston Churchill said that Russia was a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Or was it the other way around? Whatever. We are hoping that today's guest, Thursday Gervais from Bloomington, Illinois, will help unwrap some of that mystery later this year as she races in the Red Bull Trans-Siberian Extreme Bicycle Race as they race from Moscow to Vladivostok. We want to invite you once again to the OhioRAAMshow.com website, where you'll see links to all of Thursday's sponsors. She's done a great job lining up sponsors, and we want to give her the recognition of that and the recognition of her sponsors that they deserve. So with that, let's head on over to Bloomington, Indiana with Thursday. And how are you doing over there in Illinois today, Thursday?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's a little chilly, but that's the Midwest living. I'm an artist, and my spare time, it's actually my primary job as self-employed artist. Been cycling for quite some time, had a little break there for a few years, have a background in triathlons. Pretty much my whole life is cycling.
Tell us a little about your art.
I've been doing art for about 15 years. The first style I did was pretty realistic landscapes in oils and watercolors. And then about 5 years ago, I started doing what we call pop surrealism or lowbrow artwork, showing those at Curly Tail Gallery in Chicago. So I've had a few representations of galleries all across the United States. They're mostly oils, mostly watercolors.
And we will put a link here on the show notes.
Okay.
For those of you who are watching the show here on the OhioRAAMshow.com website, it'll be right below the video. If you're watching somewhere else, you'll have to go to the OhioRAAMshow.com. I was interested in what you said. There was something on NPR radio just very recently giving the history of artists, how they often start out as representative art and then move on to more expressionist type things.
Yeah, that's true.
You begin seeing the world in a different way as you move through your career.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you should progress as an artist and not stay in the same. I mean, your art should always be developing, and your life kind of changes what you're doing as well, and how you view things as you learn about life, it changes.
And I believe I read that you are a cancer survivor. Is that true?
Yeah, ovarian, about 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. I had a pretty serious problem with some tumors, and I had a full hysterectomy. We had some problems with that. I was in the hospital for 3 months on and off total time. It was not good. But I'm here. Coming back after all the health issues is what really got me back into cycling again. probably better and bigger than ever. You know, when you fight through things like that, anything else that life is going to throw you, in all fairness, is a bit easier, you know, when you fought those big battles. So it really, cycling got me healthy again, got me back on my feet again, and I just haven't stopped.
I also read somewhere that you decided as a part of your, I guess, mental recovery, you were going to try the toughest bike race you could find. Is that right?
That is correct.
You mentioned that you're involved in the Cancer Foundation. Tell me a little bit more about that and what your involvement is and how that relates to your cycling.
Sure. Well, it's the National Kidney Foundation. That's my big charity. When this race first started, it was mostly about me, truthfully, me getting across the finish line. But then I met Danielle Hill, and Danielle Hill is a Trek women's advocate, and we met at a certified mechanics course together. After hearing her story, I asked her to jump on board and be my support manager for this race, and she was willing to do it. And her story is when she was in her mid-20s, she had a kidney transplant, and it came from a living donor. Transplant then 6 years later failed. She was on dialysis for 12 years, and then she just recently, a year ago, got a second kidney. Then the story about the finish line became bigger than me crossing the finish line. It became about her and I as a team doing this together. When we decided to choose our foundation, it was obvious that it was going to be the National Kidney Foundation because that's what saved her life twice. It was a no-brainer. And then it's all of a sudden become something bigger. It's not just me and her now. Now it's a big movement for the National Kidney Foundation. All of the racers for RAM have just done an outstanding job raising money for all these various foundations that they've all belonged to.
And it's become a good platform for this kind of thing. There's so much more to it than that, isn't there? I mean, it has more to do with just raising funds, but putting an issue out in front of people in a way that gets their attention.
Yes, getting the attention and awareness for these foundations. And when you have people behind you and you know their stories, those are the stories that we as ultracyclists take with us while we're riding. We think about those people that have gone through struggles during difficult times of their life with health issues. Though they're our number one motivators. So it becomes, again, like I said, it becomes something bigger. It becomes a team effort. Even though I'm the one riding the bike, it's a team of people that you're with the whole time you're out there.
I had something happen a good many years ago Thursday. I don't think I've ever shared it on the show. I was working the night shift at one of our time stations, the Race Across America. And it was one of the early races that Team Type 1, the diabetic group,
Yes,
was riding. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was raining. It was miserable out. And Team Type 1 was coming through. And up pulled this woman in her car with her young daughter. Seems to me like she was 12 or 13 years old or something like that. They had driven from somewhere up in Michigan 300 or 400 miles just so that woman could stand there with her daughter and point at that team and says, see what they can do. Of course, her daughter had the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. So that's kind of a thing that stuck with me for a long time.
You hope that you're making a difference. Each one of us hopes that we're out there making a difference.
Well, let's get on to the Trans-Siberian race. Well, how did you get involved in it?
It's by invitation. I mean, you still have to apply for it, and they choose a number, about 15 people that they're going to have race. I didn't plan on doing it until 2018. I was hoping to qualify for RAM, actually, and use RAM as my practice race, if you will.
It's a heck of a practice, isn't it?
I know. It doesn't really sound right when I say it, but
yeah, it just came off kind of funny.
Yeah, but I had contacted the Red Bull team a few times, and I said, I'm interested in this race, but I didn't plan on doing it until 2018. We had been following each other, and they contacted me and said, would you like to do it for 2017? And I said, well, That's a year ahead of my time frame. I'm not sure that I'm actually going to be ready to do it, but it only took about 24 hours for me to turn around and say yes. Danielle Hill, yes, she's coming with me as my support. Your entry fee for the race includes van and 2 drivers. So when it really eliminates a lot of trouble of renting the van and the drivers. So I will have 2 Russian and English speaking drivers that I have not yet met that are part of my crew with me. So they know how to navigate, and it takes the whole worry of electronics in your vehicle and setting it up off of your shoulders so you can just focus on the racing. But yes, Danielle is my support crew, more than my support crew. She's a great friend and my motivator. So she's coming with. We're excited.
So let's get some numbers out.
I'm going to grab my tablet because to memorize every stage of this race, it is seriously a geography lesson in itself. So I could give you some facts on it. It's 9,400 kilometers long in total. Each stage, the longest stage is 1,400 kilometers long. The shortest stage is 300 kilometers long. See, I told you this is the toughest geography lesson I'm having right here with this. It goes along Mongolia, the border of Kazakhstan and China, 7,900 meters of ascent. I mean, most of the facts are going to be on the Red Bull Trans-Siberian page, or also my page is linked up to that too. I think it's maybe 3 times longer than the Tour de France in 24 days. And I think theirs is 21. Okay.
How do the stages work? Do you have a start and finish for a particular time?
Yes, we have a start and finish. So let's say 300 kilometers, you have 24 hours, give or take, whatever their time frame per stage is set up. You have 24 hours to reach your 300 kilometers. You have to finish within 3 hours behind the first finisher. The longest stage is 1,400 kilometers. I think they have that set up. Not sure. I think 72 hours is what you have to do your 1,400 kilometers in. So yes, you do get time to sleep in between there. But again, if you're doing a stage that's 600 kilometers and you just make it to the deadline that you need to cross the finish line, well, the start is within a few hours.
At the end of each stage, you do have whatever break time you've earned from
Correct.
On the road. And then you have a mass start again the next day. Is that how that works?
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
I gather the race itself provides support, does it not? I was trying to figure that out.
They do. They have a physio there, your doctor. They have a massage person with you. I think there's 2 doctor vans, so one in the front and one towards the back. They have mechanical support. They have a food truck, the fully supplied food truck, mostly, I mean, it's for racers, but your support crew as well. Anything you can think of, they've really kind of thought through what a racer is going to need, and they really have taken quite a bit, again, of the logistics planning off of your worry list and things to do list, so you can just focus more on the training.
And what about nutrition? Do you have to provide your own nutrition?
Well, again, they'll have the food truck there, but I know what I train with, so I will be bringing my nutrition with me because of course, like I said, I know what my body needs for these long races, so I will be bringing those. And that was a big concern of mine, is nutrition in a foreign country. What am I going to eat? I know what I can get at certain food stops on my routes here if I need to put something more solid in my stomach. But I think we'll figure it out and we'll be okay.
Well, this sounds like quite a challenge, and I think you told me this will be the 3rd year it's run?
Yes, the 3rd year.
And it's sponsored by?
Red Bull. They're the major sponsor of it. They have other sponsors of the race as well, but it's under the Red Bull label.
Have there been women in the race before?
There was a female in a team. I think it was the year before last year. She was the only female. I will be the first female doing it solo.
We will put as I said, your link to your website in the show notes will appear below the video on the website, OhioRAAMshow.com, as well as a link to the Trans-Siberian race website. It'll be there as well, so you can just drop down and click on those to find out more about them. Thursday, how can we follow you on the race?
I have quite a few links. There'll be a live link once the race starts. You can go to my website, www.justthursdaygervais.com. You can also follow me on social media. So we'll have live tracking during the race. And you can always follow me before. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All just look for Thursday Gervais and you'll see me.
This is something different, I think, than most of us experienced, and we certainly wish you well, and we'll be hoping to watch you progress.
Thank you.
And we hope that you make some inroads in expressing interest in the National Kidney Foundation and this wonderful program that they have as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate everybody's support that's been behind me.
Well, I'm almost afraid to ask the next question, Thursday, because given what you're facing, I say, any future goals? How could you have a future goal after this?
We'll see how this race goes, but yeah, I still have a future goal of entering RAM.
That might be kind of dull after this.
No, RAM is a totally different race again. So with RAM is one stage, like we said, this is broken up. So I still have that on my list to do.
We never mentioned the start and end point, but it's from what, Moscow to Vladivostok, is that correct?
Yes. So, and it's the equivalent of going across the United States and back is the distance. And it does follow the Trans-Siberian Railway, which is 100 years old. Last year was their anniversary.
And that brings up a question I neglected to get to. Terrain-wise, what kind of terrain, what kind of roads are you going to run into?
Everything. Everything. Most of the roads are fairly decent. Watching some of the videos of the race last year, I did notice that there were some gravel roads, so I'll have to be bringing a cyclocross bike for some of it. Of course, at distance, not every road is going to be perfect and smooth tarmac. And again, you're going to have the elevation differences, and who knows? We'll just see when I get there.
Well, we want a report from you when you get back Thursday.
Oh, absolutely.
But we wish you very well. Hey, thanks for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time for this. Please send me tweets, because those are the my support staff will get them. Those are the biggest motivators for us that are all out there, is knowing people are watching and following and cheering us on.
Well, that raises another question I forgot. What are the start dates for this, and how many days does it go on?
Well, it goes for 24 days. The actual start date is July 18th, and the finish date is August 10th. So I will be headed out there on the 12th, July 12th, just to get a little bit acclimated the week before. So 3 weeks total time of the race, 24 days.
Very good. And so that means that those of us who will be watching the race across America closely will have a chance to catch our breath a little bit before we start following you.
Yes, well, I will be following RAM as well. That's going to be my motivation too.
Okay, well, thanks again for being with us.
Thank you, Lee.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Thursday, for being with us on the show. We wish you well in the Trans-Siberian race. We'll be following you, and there will be opportunity to follow Thursday when the race begins. Again, on her website, there will be a lot more information there about Thursday. There will be a link to her website and a link to a gallery where her art is being displayed, and that's worth a look in itself. And we want to thank you for watching. You mean so much to us, and your support on the social media with likes and shares and pluses and retweets is what makes the world of ultra cycling known to more and more people, and you're helping us do that. We see the results on our website statistics, and we thank you for it. our next show will be on April the 17th with Amit Samarth from India, one of 4 solo riders in the Race Across America in 2017. So we'll see you along with Amit in about 10 days. Goodbye.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.